Hello friends, welcome back to my channel iTechShare. Another new day, another new episode, and today we are going to discuss about the factory pattern. If you remember in our last video, we have discussed about design principles and design patterns. And during that time, I have promised you that I'll come up with some of the more sessions and I'll pick up some of the patterns, principles, and we'll discuss in more details. Here is the first opportunity for us today to get into the one of the most widely used pattern, that is factory pattern. If you are still not watched my earlier video on design principle and design patterns, I'm just requesting you to go back and see that video. That will really help you to understand the difference between all these things. You'll be able to relate these things better. Okay. And another request, very important request, very important for me. If you are still not subscribed this channel, please do a favor for me. Go and subscribe. Okay, so without wasting any time, now let's get deep dive into this factory pattern. Happy learning. So what is factory pattern? I mean, I already mentioned that this is one of the mostly used design pattern. I mean, knowingly or unknowingly, we must be using it daily in our programming life cycle. I'll give you some of the example where you can relate it more better. Second thing on that this factory pattern is part of the creational design pattern. If you guys still not watched my earlier video, I am just requesting you to go back and check on the design principle and design pattern video. You'll able to know about this creational design pattern. I mean, to tell you at this moment that creational design pattern is a pattern which talks about object creation. There are so many design patterns under this one. So factory pattern is one of that, where the subclasses decide which class to instantiate. Okay. And of course, whenever we are separating out that object creation process, it will definitely help you to build one loosely coupled system. In a nutshell, what I can tell you that from this factory, you can create lots of objects depending upon your requirements. And that's why it's called factory pattern, I guess, right? I mean, because this is a factory and factory is providing you the materials. And what is those materials? This is the object. Got it? Okay. So now let's get into the design room. I'll show you something very interesting. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's get into our example today. Let's say we are having one class called employee, which is having one method like print description. Okay, so far it is fine. One class, one method, and you are good with this. Let's say tomorrow the requirement got changed and the business asked you to have another implementation for let's say admin employees. I mean, for the admin employees, the print description logic should be different. In that case, what you'll do, this context, let's say print admin description. Okay. Now, after 2 months, the requirement again got changed, and you have to write another method for just a finance employee description. Finance description. So just imagine if day by day the requirement is getting changed and you are ending up with a new requirement with new description you have to write for each types of employees. Is not it going to be very frustrating for you that every time you are going to change the employee class whenever there is a requirement? And not only that, if any system using this employee class, those systems will be getting impacted for this kind of changes, right? So it's a never ending change. This is not a good design pattern. So what this factory pattern suggests here, it tells that, okay, you might have one employee class and just separate it out. Let's say you can have here admin employee, and then let's say you can differentiate the functionalities for finance people under finance employee, and this class can be your abstract or interface. By the way, if you are having any doubts on abstract and interface, I'm requesting you to go back and see my video on abstract and interface. Sometimes back, I posted one video on that topic too. Okay, so coming back to our session today, here what we can do now, this just remove the all other implementation. This print description can be your abstract method, or maybe if it is interface, it's just the signature will be there. And here now you can go ahead and provide the implementation for your employee types under print description. So this print description will now contain the description for the admin employee only. And let me copy this one. It's not showing me. Anyways, print description. This print description is for printing your finance employee. Both of this class should get derived from your employee type. Okay, so as simple as that. So I will discuss with you through coding. I will be using C# code, and you will get to know how to implement these things in coding. Okay, happy learning. Here is the employee class before implementing the factory pattern. You can see here, this is your employee class, and first day you might have implementation for this print description, which is for a generic print description. Next day you got another requirement change for finance description. You went ahead to write down this method for finance description, and let's say after 2 months or so you got another one for admin description, going on like this way. Okay, so now if we'll go ahead and print these things, it will look like this. We'll run this application. Okay, see, for finance print description, admin print description. I mean, if you want to print anything, you can go ahead in this client method and call this, right? I mean, this is the simple method calling process. Okay, this is before our factory pattern implementation. Next, I will show what are the changes we need to do if we'll go for a factory pattern. Now here is the example of factory pattern. Okay, see, that employee class now I have declared as abstract class. It is having one abstract method called print description. Okay, now you can see here there is a finance employee which is getting derived from this employee class. Inside that we are having implementation for print description. This is for finance employee. Okay, now here you can see the same thing we have done for admin employee. This is for finance employee, this is for admin employee. And here is the client program. In the client program, you can see here that this is very important. We are creating the employee object. Which type is of this employee type, because this finance employee and admin employee both is getting derived from employee class, right? So we can easily create the object of type employee and instantiate it from the finance employee and admin employee. Through that, we can call this method and we are good to go. So let's say tomorrow, if there is any new requirement for another type of employee, apart from finance and admin, let's say they want to do for it for the HR employee. For that also, your admin class, I mean your employee class is not going to change. And most importantly, any subclasses which are, I mean, using this employee class, those are available as intact, as is. There will be no change for your finance employee or admin employee if there is a new class tomorrow for HR employee. You are good to go. You just need to provide another new implementation for HR employee, and inside this client program, you just call there. That's all. You are good to go. Now, as I mentioned earlier, let's say now go ahead and implement the same thing for HR employee. HR employee here, same thing. I'll just copy, and only difference should be there. This object should be get instantiated from HR employee class. Run it. See here. Without any change to your employee class or in your finance or admin class, the new implementation is coming through. That is the magic of that. I hope you understand this thing now. This is all about the factory pattern. I hope you have enjoyed this thing. Stay tuned for my next videos. I'll come up with some sessions on the other patterns too. Till that time, be safe and happy learning. And also please subscribe my channel if you have not done yet. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience.